Hi everyone, it's Steph Evans here from Evans Creations, and today I wanted to show you a really easy to learn embroidery stitch that gives a really great impact. It's sometimes called the woven wheel stitch, and it's also sometimes called the woven rose stitch, and that's because it forms a wheel or rose-like circle by weaving the thread. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure, I've done my first stitch, and I'm just going to make sure that I catch that thread with my next stitch so that I can secure the thread nicely. You don't have to faff about with knots or anything. Now what we do is we start with 5 straight stitches forming a star. So you're trying to make each stitch evenly spaced and the same length as each other. Okay, I'm using a slightly different colour thread for this initial stage so that it's a little bit easier for you to see. So I'm just going to do this last stitch here and go back into the center. Okay, so as you can see here, I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches. Okay, so I'm just going to tie my thread off at the back. There we go, make it nice and secure. That's it, and I'm just going to snip that thread so it keeps it nice and tidy. Otherwise, as you stitch, it can sometimes bring the thread up from behind and it just gets a bit annoying. Okay, so I'm just changing the colour of my thread so that you can see where this star formation is compared to where we're going to do the weaving of the thread. Okay, so I'm just securing the thread at the back of my hoop now. So I'm just going to wrap it through there a couple of times and make sure that that's nice and secure. I'm going to just snip that bit, make sure it's nice and tidy. Okay, so for the next stage, what we need to do is just bring the needle up near the center through your fabric. Okay, and then we are going to begin weaving the needle over and under each of those straight stitches. Okay, so that first one I'm just going to go over, under, pull it taut. Now you don't want to make it too tight because that can really distort the shape of your rose. So we're going to go over and under again. Okay, so we're literally just going to weave the needle over and under each of those straight stitch spokes. So you want to take care that you don't catch any of the threads with your needle, and you don't want to pull your thread too taut, as like I said, that can distort the shape of your rose. So we're just going to continue weaving around the spokes until the circle's filled in and you can no longer see any of those spokes. Okay, so that is the woven rose stitch or woven wheel stitch, whichever you prefer. I really like the effect that this has. I think it gives a really good impact. So I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. You can find me at Evans Creations on Instagram, Facebook and YouTube.